Guys, Lester Holt, NBC News anchor, goes on TV and says out loud what everybody on the right already knows in regards to what these left-wing journalists think, right? The left-wing mainstream media journalists, okay? He basically said that fairness and coverage doesn't matter because there's only one truth. Their truth. Their truth is the only truth, and no dissenting opinions are allowed, right? And because they deem dissenting opinions as falsehoods, therefore they should not get airtime because everything that they say is true. It's not about what the facts say, because they're going to hide behind the word facts. They're going to say, well, we have the facts. And the reality of the world is that there are facts, but there are also opinions regarding the facts. And not allowing the opinions regarding the facts is dangerous. It's very dangerous. And it's especially dangerous when the mainstream media parades their opinions as facts. Because most of the time, they're not talking about the facts. They're talking about their opinions. And I'm going to show you guys this segment because I couldn't believe he went out here and actually said this. But he did. So I'm going to give my opinion on it. But let's roll the clip first.
I think it's become clearer that fairness is overrated. Well, before you run off and tweet that headline, let me explain a bit. The idea that we should always give two sides equal weight and merit does not reflect the world we find ourselves in. That the sun sets in the west is a fact. Any contrary view does not deserve our time or attention. Now, I know recent events assure that you won't have to look far to find more current and relevant examples. I think you get my point. Decisions to not give unsupported arguments equal time are not a dereliction of journalistic responsibility or some kind of agenda. In fact, it's just the opposite. Providing an open platform for misinformation, for anyone to come say whatever they want, especially when issues of public health and safety are at stake, can be quite dangerous. Our duty is to be fair to the truth. Holding those in power accountable is at the core of our function and responsibility. We need to hear our leaders' views, their policies and reasoning. It's really important, but we have to stand ready to push back and call out falsehoods.
All right, guys. So again, I just cannot believe these left-wing journalists now have the audacity to come out here and just say that, you know what? Everything that we says goes. If we don't like it, then it doesn't. That's basically what he's saying. Because it's not about the truth. It's not about the truth, right? We've seen it. Black Lives Matter protests. Fiery but peaceful. Right? Fiery but peaceful. We see these people looting Walmarts, looting businesses, destroying their cities, burning down buildings. Fiery but peaceful. It's peaceful. Don't worry about it. BLM is a non-violent group. All right. Then BLM, they gather in these large crowds, right? A lot of people not wearing masks. They're not socially distanced. Not a super spreader event. But when somebody in the Trump administration is having an event during COVID, even if they have masks on and they're socially distancing, it's a super spreader event. Super spreader event. We've seen it. I've seen it in person. Okay. The Hunter Biden story. Mainstream media said it was Russian disinformation. Russian disinformation. Then all of a sudden, FBI comes out and confirms that, oh, there's actually an investigation into Hunter Biden for some of the same things that we were saying that he should be under investigation for. Mainstream media then runs the story as if this is fact. Of course, it happens after the election. Okay. Speaking of Russian disinformation, they ran with Russiagate for 3-4 years. I mean, they're still running with it. Still running with it. Even though there was a whole investigation, people went to jail, there was a whole write-up, and they found nothing. They found nothing. But for whatever reason, some people still believe that Trump was working with the Russians to win the election in 2016, and that's why Hillary lost. Mainstream media ran with that, even though they have no facts to back that up. No facts whatsoever. Stacey Abrams loses her election in Georgia to Brian Kemp. And then she goes out there and says that the election wasn't fair. That she's not conceding and that she still won. Stacey Abrams. Media didn't say nothing about that. When it comes to COVID, Joe Biden inherits a vaccine distribution plan that is exceeding even his wildest expectations when he first announced his plan before he got into office. And for whatever reason, nobody gives President Trump credit for that. After for a whole year saying that Trump's doing so bad at the virus. Anybody can handle the virus better than Trump. When these vaccines that we're getting now, we're getting them largely because of the efforts of the Trump administration. Operation Warp Speed. The media was mocking Operation Warp Speed. They were mocking Trump's coronavirus response. They blamed every single death on him, as if he controlled every single state in this country, right? He didn't act like an authoritarian. The media was mad at him, but yet they call him a fascist and an authoritarian, even though when he had a chance to be a fascist, he chose not to. He chose not to. But you have Cuomo, who was acting like a fascist and a dictator, who had this nursing home scandal that may have resulted in the unnecessary deaths of thousands of seniors. And you guys didn't report on it. But the right was talking about it. That dissenting opinion that you don't want around, that you say is illegitimate, was talking about it. And now all of a sudden, when it comes out that he was doing this as a cover-up, all of a sudden, now you want to cover it. And even then, you tried to cover that up with his other scandals. Try to cover that up too. But y'all report all the facts. You're the only news station that people should listen to. You're the only voice that people should hear. It's not about facts. But see, these are the same people that think there's no need for a dissenting opinion because they have all the facts. Everything they say is right by default. But see, it's ironic because these are the same people that'll say things like, well, the right doesn't believe in facts. Okay, well, if you believe that and you have all the facts, then why don't you allow dissenting opinions so you can argue against those dissenting opinions with the facts, right? Why don't you do that? If you feel so confident that your arguments are more superior and they're based on the facts and they're backed up by facts and evidence, why don't you allow dissenting opinions so you can just knock them down? So you can prove to the world, hey, this person just said something that was untrue or that you don't believe. We just debunked them with the facts. Right? Why don't you want to engage in a battle of ideas? But see, the truth is they don't want to engage in a battle of ideas. They don't want to engage in a battle of ideas. They want to be in their own little echo chamber. Cover their ears up, scream into the distance, and live in this lefty fantasy world where up is down and down is up. You can be anything you want. You can be a man, you can be a woman, you can be a doorknob, you can be black, you can be white, I can be transracial. Be anything I want. And then try to tell us about science, right? Try to tell us about facts. Try to tell us about biology. And then pretend that people on the right opinions are not valid because it doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't fit their narrative. And also on top of that, when you don't allow dissenting opinions, right? When you don't allow for people to hear alternative points of view, then how else are you supposed to convince those who believe that alternative point of view if there's no opposition to it? You don't even want to oppose it. So if you don't want to oppose it, then isn't it your fault that people are believing untrue things? Right? Wouldn't you be responsible for that? Because it's your job as the media to both arguments, both sides. And he says it's not, but I'm arguing that it is. Because you have a responsibility to tell the truth and the whole truth. A lot of times in arguments, guys, there's some truth on both sides. Most of the time, the truth is in the middle. And when you don't allow two dissenting opinions or multiple dissenting opinions on the topic, then it's hard to get to the real truth. It's hard to get to the truth because we know that the media can't give us the truth, right? I just gave you guys a long list of things and reasons why the media can't give us the truth. So if you can't present the truth, then obviously you need to have people on your show that have dissenting opinions. But honestly, guys, I just can't believe that this man had the cojones to go on TV and basically declare that everything they say is superior and that they don't have to entertain people who believe anything differently from them. And these people claim to be open-minded. That is by definition closed-minded. Because everything you say is not true. Everything you say, you don't present all the facts. And that's why you need to present both sides of the argument. Because some things are not a matter of facts. It's a matter of the interpretation of the fact. For example, with this pandemic, we can all agree on the facts. But what we should do from a public policy standpoint, whether we should shut down or whether we should stay open, is a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of fact. That literally is an opinion. For that reason, to have just honest public policy debates and discourse, you have to show both sides because everything is not a matter of what are the facts. It's a matter of what your interpretations of the facts. What should we do based off the preponderance of the facts? And you can come to two very different answers. Either one of them can be right or wrong, but it's still a matter of opinion. Most of the time, you're not even presenting facts. You're presenting your opinion and you're disguising it as a fact. You're telling us that, oh, my perceived authority means that my opinions are facts. Don't question it, peasant. That's what it sounds like. But anyways, we all know that it's the agenda of the authoritarian left mainstream media. No surprises, right? I'm just surprised he actually came out and said it. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the honesty. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.